All right, so next in this series, we'll be going over the arm drag grip, okay? There's two different ways to set up your arm drag. There's going to be more of a pummeling style arm drag, and there's going to be more of a chopping style arm drag. So whenever we're here, we're going to go through this strategy anytime someone's touching your shoulders, okay? They can be doing that to stop me from coming up, or they could be doing it if they're just being a little cagey and wanting to keep me back. Okay, so anytime that I see someone touching my shoulders, or at least close to touching my shoulders, that's when I'm going for the grip. Okay, option one is pummeling my arm, the same side arm, from the outside to the inside. I just need to essentially get this hand off of my shoulder. That way I can start to drag it by. Okay, so if we're here, we're pummeling, touching the forearm, pushing it down. As soon as that is happening, I'm going deep with this grip. Go as deep as possible, exaggerate, because his movement is going to change where this grip is. You would rather go deeper than shallow, because if I go shallow every time and he postures up, I might slip and lose it, okay? So we're going in deep here. So again, pummeling and going in deep. Now, what I recommend is kicking out a leg. I like to kick out the near side leg, which most people are going to teach you to kick out the cross leg, okay? I'm going to show you why I like the near side leg. Either is completely fine. Okay, so when I start to drag, I want to kick at the same time. In my drag, I'm not just throwing him by. I want to think of pulling my elbow to my hip as I'm kicking him, okay? And I'm not just essentially dragging and grabbing the far hip, because you have to think, what is he going to be doing as soon as the shoulders get out? He's going to be wanting to turn into you, and he's going to be wanting to posture up. So what makes that more difficult is here, gluing your chest to his armpit area here and trying to take your chest and your stomach down to the mat. Anything like this, okay? Try to turn into me, try to posture. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. I'm going to have convex chest for this, okay? If I have a concave chest, go ahead and turn into me, posture up. As you see, he's able to flatten me out more. We got that answer here in a second, okay? When I get to this position, convex shoulder, pushing, chest, pushing it down to the mat here. Keeping my elbow pinched nice to the hip. Now, that controls his shoulders, but he can still spin away, okay? So even if I had this grip, let's say I had the far lat instead, he can walk his legs away. And yes, I can heist up to the front of head, but preferably we don't let them get that far away from us. So go ahead and grab that far hip. That way when he goes to turn away, it almost pulls us up with him. All right? Next, we're looking to heist to the back. We need to be realistic here. It's going to be hard for you to pull them down into the back position. And I'm not a fan of pulling people on top of you either way, okay? So when we're here, what I would like to do is I need to get my legs behind me. And that's why I like kicking out this near side leg, because it's easy to swivel my legs behind me and down. So my legs are free. I just essentially curve them into here, start to continue to push my chest down to the mat, almost like I'm sprawling my legs back, and heist up to my knees. As soon as I heist up to my knees, I want to let go of his arms and quickly pummel for a near side underhook, okay? If I don't do that, or if I post onto the mat, Joel's going to get an underhook on me here, and I'm going to have some trouble. Yes, if that happens, go ahead. We're immediately coming in to the front headlock. But preferably, we take the back, so we just underhook here. Try to get an underhook now. It's hard, okay? I'm going to get my grip, and I'm going to sit back on his hip so that it's hard for him to do any defensive actions here, okay? So what that looks like more with movement. Into here, okay? So that was with the pummel. Another option is chopping motion. Craig Jones teaches this, okay? So instead of pummeling through, we're gonna chop down. But I can't just chop leaning forward here. You're just hitting your opponent's arm. You need to lean back. Good thing about this is it's quick. So I'm chopping down and I'm grabbing deep into here, okay? But you have to lean back. That way, when you're hitting it, it slides off of your shoulder. And it's going to be the same thing here. Going to the side, looking to heist up, okay? If you kicked out the far side leg instead, as you see, getting my legs behind me is hard now. If you do this, what I recommend is getting this near side hook in, kicking out so you can get this leg free. And then we're building and taking the back, okay? So we have two other things that your opponent can do here. So if I kick him out to the side, another thing, he can still pressure into me. Let's say I'm still pressuring down towards the mat, but he's pressuring into me so much my back is getting towards the mat here. Whenever this happens, I want you to let go of this bottom arm and shoot for a far underhook. And I want you to grip any way. You can do gable grip, S grip. You can do more of a reverse gable grip as well. Whatever feels good for you, or just hugging them into here. Now we can start to think of sumigashi towards this side. It's going to be hard to do if Joel's not pressuring into me. So if you load them up here and their shoulders are at your chest line, it's going to be easy for you to get the sumigashi towards the side. Just make sure that you get this arm out of the way and make sure that you land in a nice passing position here before you move on. Okay, so let's say they pressures into me. I get the underhook, I start to sweep him, but he opens his base out to stop the sweep. We end up with a high underhook on the far side. Don't just stop here. Continue to take him for the initial sweep or funnel into the series that we've done so far. So that's if they pressure in. What if they lift their hips up here? So here, what if he lifts his hips up? If I just stay here and he continues to walk towards the right, this isn't good for me. I want to get past. So whenever I see the hips lift up, I'm going to let go of the far hip, grab the back of the leg here, either the hamstring or the knee. And I'm going to use this to pull my legs and put my hips under his hips here. Now this still isn't great X guard positioning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of Joel's arm, start to push, start to lift with my legs and continue to push him more weight to his hands here. Now I can set up an overhook and we're in a modified X guard where I can start to set up details that we've done before. Okay, so again, touches my shoulder. Here he lifts his hips up. And here, now we're in a good position to attack the legs or wrestle up. Okay? And lastly is more of preemptive stuff. If we get to that side angle, we have options now. We have a good combination to work with from there. Continue to do that. But let's say that I'm setting up the arm drag here, and I go to drag, and he's really sitting back. So it's hard for me to drag him here. I'm going to use his posture against him. Okay, so I'm attacking the left arm. I want this knee pointing up towards the ceiling, and I want to curl the same side leg in towards my butt. That way I can heist up here. And I'm looking to make connection with my shoulder. Once I make connection with my shoulder, I'm letting go of the tricep armpit area and pummeling for a far side underhook. Okay, so not a near side underhook, a far side underhook here. And I'm going to continue to pressure forward. I'm not going to wait for him to pressure back. I'm going to block this outside leg. Don't drive him straight back, drive him in an angle towards this side. And now we can set up with a quick pass or set up in body lock, whatever style of passing that you like from there. So what this is going to look like more in motion is here. And we start to set up the pass. Okay? If you do this, let's say I get to here and Joel knows it's coming, so he pressures in. I can't get that takedown now, but I have an underhook. So I'm going to start to sit back. But I'm not sitting straight back. I'm sitting back and towards the opposite shoulder. That way I land in a good underhook position. If I go straight back, as you see here, not the best underhook. When I sit back at this angle, as you see, if they're not focusing on their base, you're going to immediately sweep them. So you're going to land in a high underhook position. Okay? This time, focus on your base. As you see, we land in a high underhook. And again, we're never stopping here. We're sweeping to the top. So we have two different pommels. We are working towards the back. Always work to heist. One more detail on the heist that I almost forgot. So let's say you're here. He's starting to flatten you out, but his weight is too far away. And it feels like you gotta use too much strength to get the sumigashi to the side. just forward shift them back and look to heist into here, okay? So if you ever feel like it's going to take too much muscle in that direction, just forward shift them back, all right? And this is going to work as a combination here. I'm forward shifting him here. He pushes me back. Maybe I get to sweep this down, maybe not. Come back up. It's going to be a mixture of the two. Basically, if the weight is away, we're heisting. If the weight is up high, we're sweeping.